Armada. Get adventures on the high seas, you said. I should have become a farmer like my mother said. Raise oars. Lower oars. Fresh ale for the men. Don't worry, young fellow, we'll find your friends. Something is happening on the Forbidden Island. By the gods! Oh, look! It's Jackson, Helen, and Gerald Centaur with the Mer people. Hi, Jackson. Hi, Helen. And there's Sebastian lifting Gerald Centaur onto the ship. Glad we found you all. What happened? Yes, Jackson, why did the Forbidden Island explode? Well, I have to begin explaining what happened. Starting 2 days ago. 2 days ago, at Gerald Centaur's house, Bobby the Elf showed Helen and Gerald and I a map from the fairy cave that showed the location of an island that contains various treasures, including a set of magic arrows and a bow belonging to Gerald's great-grandfather. These arrows have some magic power that works only for centaurs. The arrows were taken from my great-grandfather many years ago. It's my duty to bring them back to my people. Can I go with you, Gerald? No, Peter, it's too dangerous. The Mer people can help us travel to the island. Yes, Helen, and they can go underwater to open the gate from the inside. We'll meet them tonight and be near the island tomorrow. The next day we were traveling with the Mer people, Michael and Janice, on their seashell boat drawn by seahorses to the Forbidden Island, while Sebastian flew overhead. But we did not know then that our adversaries, the witches, had found out about our plans. I don't believe this. It can't be. They know about the island, Brutus? Yes, Grimelda. I spied on them and found out about the map. We could catch them before they escape from the island. If they get the arrows, I want to be there to see Gerald Centaur again. And I, Kala, want to be a part of that action. Ah, hey, watch it! Count me in. Oh, me too. All right, Otis, but you and that Cyclops Claudius stay out of trouble. Yes, ma'am. What was that? Oh, yes, Your Highness. And don't you forget it! Come on, we'll go through my secret tunnel to the island. We'll meet again, Gerald Centaur. Meanwhile, we made it to the Forbidden Island, which was protected by a huge metal glass dome. Sebastian flew down and said, "I'll go down underwater with you to open the gate." Helen and I put on the magic shells Michael and Janice gave us so we could breathe underwater. I'll watch the seahorses while you open the gate to enter the island. The mer people, Helen and I dove underwater along with Sebastian. Helen and I just had to see what it was like to be underwater. Sebastian, being part fish, had no trouble breathing underwater. The five of us swam to a tunnel under the island. Michael and Janice turned a large wooden wheel inside the tunnel, which lifted the gate above the waves. Gerald then ordered the seahorses to pull the seashell boat under the raised gate into the island. After Helen and I got dressed, we headed for the hidden treasure. Good luck. We'll be here waiting for you. We walked across the island until we came to the entrance of a tunnel that would lead us to hidden treasures. Suddenly, a fierce-looking sphinx flew down in front of us. "Halt, trespassers. You must answer a riddle. What creature is it that walks on 4 feet in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening? Tell me soon, or you will die." We all tried to think of an answer, while the Sphinx licked her lips. But all I could say in frustration was, "Oh man, what? How did you know the answer is man, who crawls as a child on 4, 2 as an adult, and has a cane as an old man?" "Oh, well, that's obvious." Whew. "My name is Sylvia, and I wouldn't hurt you. I was just saying what I was told to say. But I wouldn't go into that tunnel if I were you. Come back. I want to get to know the handsome spotted one." "The handsome spotted one? Yes, Sebastian, is that you?" All right. Yes, she meant me." Wow, a lady sphinx. What happened next? Go on, Jackson, tell them. Okay, Helen. Well, after the Sphinx, we walked through a walled tunnel lit by torches. As we walked forward, we felt an increasing heat, and we saw a bright light ahead of us. Then a heavy breathing sound made us stop in our tracks. I looked ahead through the end of the tunnel and peered across a vast cavern filled with gems, gold coins, and other treasures. And there was a huge, sleeping dragon. Wisps of smoke rose from its nostrils. Gerald Centaur suddenly spotted a gleam of light above the dragon. A magic glow sparkled from the magic arrows and bow atop a pair of columns behind the dragon. Sebastian then decided to fly quietly above the dragon and deliver the bows and arrows to Gerald's centaur. Gerald caught the bows and arrows dropped by Sebastian. When Sebastian landed on his feet, the sound of the coins awoke the dragon. His eyes glowed red and yellow hot, and he lifted his head above the ground and spread his webbed wings. His scaly claws thundered across the piles of gold coins on the ground. Then his head swirled around a long snake-like neck, searching with glowing eyes for us. Then he spotted us. Then his head lunged forward. Gerald placed a magic arrow on his bow, aimed and fired. The magic arrow shot upward and exploded on the dragon's chest. But the dragon was unharmed. We ran from the monster's snapping jaws, while Gerald shot more lightning arrows at the beast. Then the dragon pulled his head back and unleashed a blast of fire at us. We quickly ran and flew back through the tunnel before the flames blasted the ground behind us. Then the dragon let out another gust of fire into the tunnel. We quickly ran out of the tunnel before the fire could get to us. Gerald now had the magic bow and arrows. We just needed to get off the island when suddenly we stopped abruptly in our tracks. For in front of us were the witches Grimelda and Marlena. Well, Gerald, you have the arrows I took from your great-grandfather. You stole them, but they work only for centaurs. That does not matter. Their magic should be mine. And now that we're together again, let the party begin. Marlena shot lightning bolts at us. We jumped and flew out of the way. I fought Brutus with my sword and flew out of the way of his blade. But Kala, his girlfriend, pulled me down with her whip. And Helen shot downward and knocked Kala to the ground. Kala and Helen faced each other. Helen charged with her daggers. But Kala did a somersault above Helen, landed behind her, grabbed Helen with her whip, and threw Helen to the ground. At that moment, Gerald Centaur saw Claudius Cyclops and Otis charge at him from two directions. But Sebastian flew down and lifted Gerald off the ground, and Claudius and Otis knocked each other out instead. Sebastian held Gerald aloft in mid-air. I thought you needed a lift. While Sebastian and Gerald flew above the battle, the dragon emerged from the tunnel, spewing flames in all directions. Yes, kill them, my precious, said Grimelda. Just as Precious lunged at Sebastian and Gerald's centaur, Sylvia Sphinx lunged onto the top of the dragon's head. No, don't you hurt the spotted one. Sylvia hung onto the monster's jaws and covered his eyes. Traitor! Let Precious go! At that moment, Gerald Centaur poured a magic arrow on his bow and launched it in the direction of the dragon's open mouth. The arrow shot into the dragon's jaws and went down his throat. The dragon shook in pain and then broke apart into magic fragments. Oh crap! The magic of the dragon held the island together. With that explosion, the island began to shake and crack open. Marlena floated in front of Sebastian and Gerald. Don't go, Gerald. Stay with me. Sorry. Gotta go, excuse me, said Sebastian. We all returned to the seashell boat. We escaped the island just in time. Marlena and Grimelda lifted off from the island on their flying barracuda. Behind them flew the harpies, carrying Kala, Brutus, Claudius, and Otis. A harpy carried Otis by his rear end. Then the island sank beneath the waves. And that's when you showed up. I'm glad I met the Viking captain, Bodan, and we came on his ship, the Odin. Sylvia Sphinx all right, Sebastian? I hope so. You can't lose me that easily, Sebastian. No dragons were destroyed in the making of this motion picture, but some Vikings became very seasick.